Welcome to another random repair video. Here we have a Viessmann boiler and Combi Plus. Okay, I've had some issues with this and we've determined the problem, but I just wanted to share my findings. The way this works is this is the water heater here, this is the boiler. And then over here we have a pump controller and a pump and some valves. This pump runs when the rads are running, and then there's a pump in here that runs when it's making hot water. Now, what happened with this is it wouldn't make hot water or heat the rads. So because there are two pumps, originally I thought it must have been something else. Now, when you have a bad pump in this Combi Plus unit, what will happen is it will display on your display here either a tap or a rad. You know, it'll show you that it's trying to it's trying to make hot water, but this will not fire up. And it's because with no circulation, this will not fire up and it will not throw an error code. So we've determined that the pump is bad. So we're gonna go ahead now and remove it and replace it. This unit's 4 months old, so not very old. It's a Grundfos branded pump, so really it's not, I guess we'll say, Viessmann's fault. I don't feel in this one, or an installer issue. This one was actually just a defect. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead now and pull this pump out. So what we got to do first is kill the power to the boiler. So I'm going to press the off switch here, turn that off, and then turn the switch off here. Okay, so now we have no power there at all anymore. Okay, and the other thing we have to do as well is we have to isolate the or turn the water off from going into the boiler. You know, you may have a valve somewhere you have to turn off. For me here with this application, I have valves right here that I can turn off, okay? Unfortunately, we should have drains on this side of the valve, would be a little easier for service. I don't, so we're gonna get a little bit of spillage of water, but it shouldn't be too bad, okay? So I'm gonna put a bucket under here. Sorry about this video. I wasn't even gonna make this video. It's just one of those things where this could help somebody out, so I figured I would do it. So now with those two shut off, and of course the water's cooled down, I'm gonna begin opening these up here just to let the water out of the boiler. Okay, now there's gonna be a pretty good amount of water in here, all right, because it is all inside the heat exchanger, so it'll take a little bit of time to get the water out. So we're gonna drain the water from the two service ports. There's one on this side here and one on this side here until there's no more water left. And to avoid an airlock, you have to open both. So I've got most of the water out that wants to come out, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this cover here. There's a few screws on it you have to take off. You just yank that cover off of there. And then we've got our pump here. So you'll see it's mounted in. You can undo this connector. Remember, all the power shut off. And then we have 4 Allens here, 2 here and 2 here, and we can take that off and just remove that pump. And it's as simple as that. That is exactly what was stopping everything. And I'll show you in a second why that was stopping absolutely everything from working by design. Now, once you remove the Allens, you'll take this pump out, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so you can see the impeller, there's the pump. And I'll show you where the failure mode is on this pump as well. And if you have a problem and it's out of warranty, you might be able to get it going based on the failure mode I had. Maybe it's not ultra common, but I will show you. Okay, now in here, all right, this is the supply and the return here that goes to all the rads in the house to heat the house. But and then this is obviously the supply and the return for the boiler. So basically, when it's in domestic hot water mode, it's just circulating through the Combi Plus into the boiler and blah blah blah, right? Because there's a diverter valve here. But when the whole house needs heat, okay, and the hot water is not running, it's going through these lines here, which still run through the Combi Plus. So it's why I kind of had a feeling it was in here. I just didn't think it was the pump. But if you look closely here, this line connects to the bottom here and goes into this pump housing. Okay, I know the light's not very good here, but with this pump housing here, you can see it come out. If this pump's not turning, it's basically acting like a valve to shut off the water, so you have absolutely no flow through the boiler. So the boiler will display that it's trying to run with no error code, but it will never fire up. Okay, so also the failure mode in this pump. All right, I'd like to show you quickly here what happened. So let's go out to the tailgate of the truck here and I'll show you. So what actually happened here was inside, and we were able to get this thing running again by doing this, but luckily it's under warranty, so we're getting this part exchanged. But when you come in here, there's a few things you can check, okay? If your pump's not running, that you can easily fix without being a technician. Sorry, one-handed is not easy. Come on. We'll take this off of here. Okay, now in here, you'll see these two connectors are plugged in here. This is your capacitor. You have a voltmeter that does capacitor. You can put this on, unplug this, put this on there, and make sure it's 8 microfarads. You gotta have 8 microfarads. So get a voltmeter that can measure capacitance and check that out. If that's bad, it won't work. These pins also have to be in here. But where the problem was with this one, this all checked out, was underneath here, where this plugs in. If you look down in here, see that one pin is black. It might be hard to see here, but that one pin is black. And you can see down here, you can see arcing, okay? So it had a pin fitment issue on that pin in there, which you can see is also darker. So that pin was lazy and wasn't clamping down. We call that a pin fitment issue. So this wasn't making good purchase. So what we did is we cleaned that up a little bit and we closed this up with a little screwdriver here. Okay, so there's the problem, the failure mode in this pump. So if you have that issue, you can clean the contacts, try to get a little better pin fitment if the pin's not totally burned out, or maybe you can just replace this head or figure something out. Unfortunately on these Combi Plus units, this is a proprietary pump and you can't find it anywhere except for right from Viessmann. So we were gonna be 4 or 5 days without heat or hot water until we found this and we're able to make it limp through. Now let's install the new one. All right, so after a week of waiting, I have the new pump. That's not bad, right? A week to get hot water, no problem. So I'm going to, I'm just putting it in now. I have the two Allen screws there. The new pump came with new fasteners, so I'm just using those. And they just go in the same way, and then I've already plugged the connector in. The setting on this is on 3, if you can see that. So I guess that would be the highest speed, the fastest speed. So I can put this in and then I'll show you how to get the boiler fired back up. All right, so our 4 screws are back in and the connector's on. So I'm gonna make sure these are both turned off right now. Okay, I'm gonna show you here what I have. It's, there's one on the left and the right. So the return water comes in here and then goes out this way to heat everything here. So I'm going to turn this on here carefully and look for leaks. You should see no leaks around the pump area. And you should be in a little water coming through the pump into the heat exchanger. So the best thing to do is you can crack this one open here for just a moment. To make sure there's no air in there, but there shouldn't be too much going on there. And I'll just dump that down the floor drain here. And our pressure and everything looks reasonable. We're at about 15 psi, so that should be about where it is anyway when it's cold. I'm gonna turn this one on now and run this in for just a few moments here to get any air out. You can see we're getting lots of air out there. Because that heat exchanger was drained down, you're gonna have air in here. We're just doing this now before we get it all back into the system. Hey, there's even more there. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do that one more time. So now the second time I did that, I got a great amount of air out of there, and then now my PSI obviously dropped, it's come back up. So we should be ready now to go ahead and turn this thing on. So, okay. We're gonna open this one up here so it can circulate. And there's still gonna be a little air in there, obviously, because there was some in that return line and whatnot. We can't get it all out. It'll end up in probably in some of the upper floor rads or what have you. Okay, and this is where the unit would stall before. It would show the picture of the little tap here, but this guy wouldn't fire up, okay? So I heard a little bit more air come out and stuff as it was running. There's also inside the body of this, there's an auto bleeder, so you'll hear a little bit of air coming out there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on a tap to call for water, and we should see this come on. Actually, yeah, that's probably best. I'll do that for now, just so it can circulate for a bit and it can come out of the auto bleeder, and it won't end up as much into the heating end. So I've got a tap on. You can see here it shows it. Oh, I can hear the water circulating. It's showing here that we should be into high fire. Okay. Oh, I can hear it ramping up, so it did definitely fire up. These are pretty quiet to start with the cover on, so it's sometimes kind of hard to tell, but see the temperature climbing, it definitely fired up. First try, not like before. So yeah, that fixed the problem. So if you have one of these units and you're getting a tap here, or the picture of the rad, and you know you're not getting any, the boiler itself isn't firing up, it could very well be that pump. It could also be a pressure switch or a control board, and they're located up in this unit. But the first thing you'll want to check for sure is that you're actually getting circulation with this pump. And yeah, there we go. We're up to 135, still climbing. Definitely got pretty good temperature there, and we've got hot water coming out of the unit. So there you have it, fixed. Another random repair. Hope it helps somebody out.